I'm Christine Lisi. The Commanders have granted defensive tackle Jonathan Allen permission to seek a trade. His cap hit this year, $22.5 million. Trading or releasing him before June 1st would save $16 million in cap space. Multiple teams have inquired about Allen, who missed 9 games in 2024 with a torn pectoral. The Packers, the team that submitted a rule proposal to ban the tush-push quarterback sneak. Penn State defensive end outside linebacker Abdul Carter, one of the top prospects in the upcoming NFL draft, won't work out at this week's combine due to a shoulder injury, but he'll undergo medical exams and take part in interviews. His agent expects Carter will be recovered in time to work out at his pro day at Penn State. NBA 76ers center Joel Embiid will continue undergoing tests today on his troublesome left knee. The knee has been a constant issue this season.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to a top tipsy Tuesday here in No Man's Land. John Abraham alongside Joe Hunk. What are you doing over there, Joe? Joe.
Pardon our progress.
Joe, what are you doing? Why couldn't you do this before the show? Is it at least working?
Yeah.
It's just wood. Okay, let me just
Yeah, no. It's
can I
nailed
just
back
mute
in.
you for the time being?
No, it's nailed back in.
WZZN
I'm going to work
TV,
on the other side.
if you guys want to see Bob the Builder currently.
Can we fix it? Yes, we can.
Possibly. We'll find that out tomorrow as Talking Ball will be back in studio reacting to your craftsmanship. Do we have insurance on that table? That's
Heck,
the
I
real
don't know.
question because now
There you go.
you're warding the warranty.
This is why I kept my tools here.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. 256-576-9777 is the number to hop in on the programming with us. And also you can find us over on YouTube at 97.7 ESPN as well as WZZN TV. As Joe gets prepped for today's fantastical episode of The Blitz,
I'm ready. I'm good.
I'm going to let the people know that we got a lot of fun things to hop into today, as well as throughout the airways, because our day is going to be quite long. We have Tom Abraham show from Baumhauer, so look forward to that. On top of that, we're going to have some Baylor. I don't know where this one came from. Baylor is going to be facing off against Cincinnati, Joe. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. And the only reason I know that is because as we get ready for the NCAA tournament, which you can hear on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, part of that is also there are some games leading up to it that we are going to be airing, including a ton of conference championship games.
Okay, well, there you go. Now you know a little bit more. That's going to be over on Talk Radio WZZN. And then on top of that, the funnest thing about today, outside of our show, we got the Havoc Hour live from Zambrewski's. Joe, do we have any idea who we're getting on today?
No, not yet. No, okay, and what's fun for me is I always try to guess about who we are possibly going to have at Zambrewski's because a lot of time it can be based on play or things like that. Jack Yannick had a good weekend. Austin Alger had a good weekend. Craig McCabe's Knuckles had a good weekend.
I always do.
as did Connor Fries' knuckles have a really good weekend. Mason Palmer's knuckles had a really good weekend. You can kind of see where I'm really kind of going with this.
There were a lot of fights.
There were a lot of fights. I want to say it was, if my math was correct, 89 penalty minutes just for Huntsville alone.
Whoa.
And Charlie Risk got into a tag team match, but somehow he was called for the third man. That's kind of fun. I saw the video and I'm just thinking to myself, 2 Knoxville players on 1 Havoc player, and then Charlie hops in, which to even the odds, and Charlie gets called for the third man in, and the math isn't mathing.
No.
So that was it. But the best thing about it is, especially for Alabama fans, you definitely want to know this, because I'm sure that is something that at some point in time in the future you'll need to know. You can't spell Knoxville without 2 L's, which is exactly what they took this weekend. If you are the SPHL, you can't spell Knoxville without 10 L's.
Oh,
because that's how many they have in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're on
Yeah,
that big of a slide.
This is all in fun for anybody that is from the Knoxville area that is watching. I know we're about to head back up to Knoxville here in just a few minutes.
A little mudslide down the Rockies.
Well, no, and here's the part of it, because trust me, if you think the trash talking is bad between Huntsville and Knoxville, Thursday night Huntsville is playing Macon, which is Hunt's Vegas night, by the way. The entire lobby is going to be a casino.
But there's no gambling in Huntsville, in Alabama. How are they going to do this thing?
You can if it's for charity.
Okay.
You can if it's for charity.
So you're telling me that I'm going to be gambling, but I'm not taking anything home?
No, because what is happening is you're gambling, and there's going to be prizes and all of that, but to get your chips, you donate money, and the money you donate, then you get that in chips.
So is there any way I can create a foundation in the span of 3 days for maybe food for the needy, aka me and my roommates?
Yeah.
There's a way. I mean, how hard would it be to create a charity?
There's probably a couple of papers you need to sign.
Okay, well, you know what?
Probably is.
I'm thinking to myself, I had a recollection. I don't want to do that because of all the great charities around this area.
Yeah, that are legit.
I'm going to let them have all the money.
Well, it's going to be, you have the opportunity for Hunt's Vegas night. That's going to be Thursday night. Remember, this was supposed to happen, and then the ice storms took place.
Yeah.
Because this was, I believe, all part of the Peoria weekend that got canceled. And so now you have that. But then after that, Huntsville has a home and home against Birmingham. If you think, Steve Moulton's listening to Pelham. That's what he calls them.
Mm-hmm.
If you think it is heated between Huntsville and Knoxville, it is very heated between Huntsville and Birmingham. The trash talking has already started between Huntsville and Birmingham.
When is it not like that, though? I mean, this is like Alabama and Tennessee. There's going to be some trash talk being thrown around. But at the end of the day, that in-state rivalry is always just going to mean a little bit more.
Well, and I think a lot of it does have to do. They played each other in the SPHL championship. Yeah. You obviously know that they're close by each other, with Pelham only being about an hour and a half away because they do play at the Pelham Civic Center. Those types of things that do play into this. Mm-hmm. But it is also just the in-state rivalry. I mean, I have friends that are Birmingham Bulls fans. And so this is the one time that they're like, oh, I like you, but I don't like you like that kind of thing. So this is a home and home. And so the first game will be on Friday. Saturday night, we'll be back for the return game. And so, yeah, all that's going to get talked about tonight on the Havoc Hour, live from Zambruski's at 6:00.
The biggest question you need to ask some of these guys, whoever's hopping on with us tonight, have they actually been to Las Vegas, and have they gotten into a little bit of a gambling trap before?
I think that we are definitely going to be asking some gambling questions because, I have my own gambling stories. So I know that these guys have got to have something as they get ready for this. So Thursday night is going to be a lot of fun. And then the game is going to happen when you're going to be able to listen to it on 97.7's Havoc Zone.
Yeah. You know what they say, Joe? You need to know when to roll them.
You need to know when to fold them.
And you know when to get up and
to walk away, and know when to run, because
get the hell out of there.
Yeah, you never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there'll be plenty enough counting when the dealing's done.
I'm glad you finished that off.
I have.
It just comes to you, though.
Amazing.
It just comes to you. Even if you slightly forget some of the lyrics, it still just rolls off the tongue.
It is an amazing song. I mean, look, Kenny Rogers has some really good songs.
No doubt.
But at the same time, he gave me a personal concert.
Really?
Yeah. He didn't know it. I did. It was a sound check. He was doing a sound check at the VBC.
It's enough.
I was me and a buddy were refilling everything in the concession stands. We got done and he was doing his sound check. So we just went on the floor, literally like 3 rows from the front, and just sat there as they did their entire walkthrough. It wasn't walkthrough, they were actually doing the performance. And I'm just going, literally like 3 rows from Kenny Rogers. There's nobody else around.
Yeah. Well, similar
to the coolest thing.
Similar to that song that it rolls off the tongue. It's the same thing for Fleming Roofing and Restoration. These are the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. And remember that Fleming always shows up, and we very much appreciate them for, of course, sponsoring this show. Joe, we got a lot of fun things to get into, not just the hockey scene, not just the Havoc hockey scene, at least. We also have a lot of Tennessee stuff to get into today, whether we're looking at the NFL Combine, because that's starting up in a few days. Of course,
they're doing
deck.
interviews.
Yes.
They're doing interviews today.
Yes, they are.
So all of the media members are already in Indianapolis watching, because the state, the platforms and everything are set.
No doubt.
For everybody. Matter of fact, the Falcons general manager right now just started talking.
Yeah, and then on top of that, Tennessee's going to be facing off against LSU. That's right beside, of course, Alabama versus Mississippi State. And Joe, if you think that you're going to miss this game because we got the Havoc Hour tonight, you are mistaken, because we got ourselves a pair of 8 p.m. tip-offs. I am going to be asleep before these games come to an end yet again, Joe. I'm very upset. I don't know why this has to be the case, but regardless of that, you're going to be able to listen to that Alabama-Mississippi State game on our network. Tennessee versus LSU, ESPN Winchester is where you're going to want to go for that one. And then, of course, you can look forward to that Alabama-Tennessee matchup that's going down this weekend, Saturday, March 1st. And it's going to be a 3 p.m. tip-off. So, again, if you're thinking, why is this one getting that? It's not getting that prime time, those prime time eyes. Well, it doesn't matter, because every single SEC matchup's a prime time game when it comes down to it.
No. It also comes to the fact that every one of these games were kind of really scheduled way beforehand, because basketball doesn't do the whole flex scheduling thing the way that anybody else does. So, here's the thing. If you're tipping off at 6:00, then you've got a prime time spot. If you're tipping off at 8:00, okay, well, then you're the second tier game. That's the way that you should always.
So are you saying that the 3 p.m. tip-off's a third-tier game? Because I don't know who in their right mind would think that a Alabama-Tennessee matchup late in the season is going to be a third-tier game. What makes sense of that, Joe Hunk Capiller?
Wow, full name on that. See, on Saturdays, I don't know with the way that we would look at the tiers, because I would think that like maybe the 1:00 tip would be the primetime tip. But see, for me personally, I would always enjoy the 6:00 tip on a Saturday, mainly because my Saturdays are so incredibly busy. Yep. Like, we were with the Rocket City showcase that was taking place over the weekend. I was inside of a press box all afternoon and all morning long. And so the only way I was able to watch Auburn and Georgia was because I had it on my iPad, which was really funny, because Auburn gets done with their games over at Toyota Field. They came over to UAH to watch one of the teams that they were about to play.
Okay.
They're up in the press box and they're asking me for updates on the game. And I was like, yeah, it's a close game. They're like, yeah, so how's Jeremiah doing? Like, they're asking. I was like, hold on, let me pull up the numbers for you. Now batting, number 72, right fielder. Yeah, no, he's doing okay. No, he's doing good. He's doing all right. Attention, please. Pitching change for ETSU. Like, that was my entire afternoon. So for me, it was 6:00. I would assume that would be your primetime tip-off.
I gotcha.
If you would want to be that way, because I would assume that's where your majority of your eyes are going to be on a Saturday.
Okay. Well, outside of the other stuff, the scheduling, we do have a lot of Tennessee stuff to get into with, of course, the Volunteers, because we can talk about, all things Tennessee all day long. That's not what we're going to do, though. We're going to throw it all into one segment. Ryan Sylvia from Vol Report going to hop on with us, talk a little bit about the basketball, because it's huge right now for the Tennessee Volunteers.
The basketball is huge.
The basketball. Now. On top of that, we might even hop over to the women's side of things, because women's basketball isn't too shabby either. And I got to admit, everybody hyping up the men's SEC, slate this year. You look over at the women's slate, It's basically the same. There's more of those lower tier teams, but regardless of that, you still see a team like Tennessee with just like, I think 6, maybe 8 losses on their schedule. And they're, what is it, middle tier SEC right now?
Right.
I mean, and that's wild to me. So we're definitely going to pay a little bit more attention to the women's side of things. And on top of that, Tony Vitella, he is back in the news.
Vitello.
I don't care what you say. I'm an Italian.
Look, I'm telling
Vitello. You don't throw a huge O at it right now. Just let me roll. Just let me cook, Joe.
Oh, my bad.
You're good.
Sorry about that, Chef Boy RD. Let's go.
It's all good. He secures his 300th win in baseball, and he's the fastest coach to do it in Vols franchise history. I say franchise. Either way, we will be talking with Ryan Sylvia. Always looking forward to that. And then, of course, what are you laughing at, Joe?
Because, okay, so as you're talking, I'm also shooting out our tweets for the show so that everybody knows kind of, hey, we're live, all of this stuff.
Yeah, they got to
I was doing one on my X, like I was taking our feed and I was posting it on my X as well. And I put the phone emoji down at the bottom and I was saying, hey, phone lines are open, 256-5764-977. Unfortunately, before I hit send, I proofread it because I actually didn't send out our phone number. I was about to send out my cell phone number.
I hate when that happens. It's better than sending out the wrong emoji and accidentally throwing the eggplant.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen with people that don't use the eggplant as much as others, which would make me assume you're using the eggplant a lot if it's in your favorites.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even have favorites. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Because in my favorites, the one that I use the most, and anybody that texts me or messages me knows this, is I use the laughing emojis.
Sideways laughing emojis.
The 2 sideways, one way, one the other.
I know how you do that.
Those are my 2 favorite ones to always use. And so, no, it's always in my favorites. It's always my 1-2 favorite emoji. So that would mean that in your favorite emoji section,
I don't get that, man. I don't get that same setting. I haven't updated my phone.
No. You do get that same setting because that setting's been there since probably like iPhone 8.
I got I got the older iOS. It hasn't updated yet.
No, the older iOS still has it. It doesn't matter where it's at. Okay. I'm not questioning where you put your eggplant. All I am saying is that it's probably in your favorites.
I'll show you.
No, I don't want you to show me. Actually, do not show me at all. There's a glass in between us. There's a door that does have a lock on it, which I just now realized.
Oh, why does it have a lock on it? Who's locking themselves in the
anybody
studio?
that is getting threatened that for somebody else to show them their eggplant is making sure that they can't walk through that door. That is the reason why it is there. The table has been fixed. I'm about to go work on the other side and try to fix that one as well. And then we're going to get going on this because Ryan Sylvia is about to join us here in just a few minutes. Vol report, Chaz Lanier, I still don't think has missed a 3 in the last 72 hours. We'll talk to him as well, not Chaz Lanier, but Ryan Sylvia, about Chaz Lanier, the Tennessee Vols, both on the field, off the field, as teams are getting ready for spring practice as well. And, of course, the number 1 team in the country, the Tennessee Vols baseball team. All of that is coming up next as you listen on ESPN Winchester, as well as ESPN The Zone. And, guys, somebody wants you to show them their eggplant.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Long before winter weather approaches, the Alabama Department of Transportation prepares to maintain interstate and state roads that could be affected by snow and ice.
Yeah, we start training and doing maintenance on snow and ice equipment months in advance to make sure everything is ready for when the freezing weather comes. We will have crews working around the clock that are prepared to plow snow and remove trees that have fallen into the roadway.
Our mission is to keep roadways safe and open. We try to achieve this by focusing on interstate routes first and then secondary roadways by traffic volume.
If the weather allows, we'll start pre-treating the roadways during the day to prepare for the temperature drop at night.
AlDOT wants to keep the public informed during these winter weather events. The best way to learn about state road conditions is the Algo app and through local media. Brought to you by AlDOT, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
The Drive.
Both those guys have done a good job in what we've asked them to do, and both of them have developed nicely, and both of them have consistently made plays.
Wes and Steve.
Their decision making, their judgment, their ability not to force things and take what the defense gives and distribute the ball with good decision making, down in, down out, is probably the only thing that's going to be any different about them, because it's not physical ability or talent. So it's intangibles, leadership, decision-making, judgment, and all those types of things. And, both guys have done a good job in that regard as well.
Listen to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton each weekday afternoon starting at 5. We are your home of ESPN Radio, 97.7 The Zone.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials free to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A quiet night across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s. Another day filled with ample sunshine across the area as we head into your Wednesday. We're also going to be a little bit warmer Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s. Cloud cover should begin to increase across the Tennessee Valley as we head into Wednesday evening and then through the overnight. Through the overnight, early into Thursday morning, temperatures only drop into the upper 40s and lower 50s. We're also going to begin to see a little bit of rain move into the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship Game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Repairs have been made. Adjustments have been set. Joe, how's it looking over there, man?
It looks pretty. It looks good right now.
It's stout.
At least.
Stout.
And we added a few more nails. We're good to go.
Some wood glue.
Yeah, some wood glue.
Maybe essential.
And we did all of this during a commercial break, which is actually even the more impressive part on that. And as we were doing it, we're also getting okay, let's just say the WZZN TV chat's a little weird this morning.
Well, it's because of the eggplant comment.
Yeah, there's we've already got some people showing us their eggplants in the chat.
I really hope my mom doesn't listen to this show. No, I actually
Dude,
want
that's
her
how
to.
she keeps up with half her kids, man. Seriously, half the family is in radio.
Turns on sport radio.
That's it. She's like, oh, well, let me check on this child. Oh, it's 9 now. Let me go check on this child. Oh, let me see what my husband's doing.
Is that why she doesn't text me?
Because she doesn't have to. All
Yeah.
she has to do is turn the radio on, and she knows what you're up to.
I gotcha. Well, all I got to do is open up Twitter, and I know what Ryan Sylvia is up to. Is he's following all things Knoxville, all things Tennessee Vols, and we got to get into a conversation with him. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you guys that the best deals are waiting for you over on 97.7ESPN.com. Big Zone deals, where to go. Start saving money today and start eating some of the best food in the North Alabama area. And now time to talk with one of the best guests in the Tennessee Valley. It is Ryan Sylvia. Ryan, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, guys. It's been pretty cold here in Knoxville recently, but today we're going to be outside for a baseball game, and I just checked the weather. So we got like 60 degrees, so it's starting to feel like some spring football, some baseball, that type of weather coming up.
I look forward to it very much so, because it was like that second winter. One of our guests, Grace Anello, actually told us that was a thing. So second winter hit us, and now it's finally starting to ease up. What was the third thing that she said?
Blackberry winter.
Blackberry winter.
Yeah, blackberry winter.
I don't know what the hell that means.
It's going to be another cold spell that's going to come through, and then after that, we're good.
Okay, well, hopefully it's almost in and out of the Tennessee area, as well as, of course, the Tennessee Valley. But Ryan, you start the conversation off with baseball. I'm going to follow it with baseball.
I'm never going to complain about this.
And I won't either. Is Tennessee able to sweep Samford over this weekend? And I want to talk about it because this was, even though Tennessee still scored 5 to 11 runs, it wasn't even close to their best performance of the season, and that's because, of course, you're facing off against a lot of these smaller programs. But talk about it so far, because we already got some history from the head coach over there in Knoxville.
Yeah, Tennessee, I mean, they look like the best team in the country against me. I'm kind of surprised that only the coaches named them number one this week. I thought maybe they had a good argument to jump those LSUs and Texas A&M's who took losses, but they're pretty comfortably in the top 3 right now across all the rankings. And man, they just look like that team. And a big part of it is the freshman class that Tony's brought in. Like, this is probably the best freshman class he's ever signed, which is saying something considering the juniors that just left from last season, like Christian Moore, Blake Burke, Drew Beam. That's a pretty insane trio, and that's just kind of scraping the barrel of it when you look at some of the other guys that were also in that class. So to say that this is up there and even comparable, if not better, when you look at guys like Manny Marin, Jay Abernathy, Levi Clark, those are 3 hitters that they're going to do a bunch of damage for Tennessee, not only in their career, but this season. Like, Levi Clark has 2 pinch hit home runs last weekend against Samford. It's going to be really hard to leave him out of the lineup, but who do you take out? Because it's not like anyone's not producing. So it's just top to bottom, the pitching staff, whether that's the starters, the bullpen, the lineup. It's really just, it looks like a team that's capable of going back to back, when in recent history, we've seen teams take kind of pretty significant dips when you look at those 2 Mississippi schools after they won the championship. LSU was good last year, but not at the caliber that they necessarily wanted to be. It's been tough for teams to repeat, but Tennessee looks like they're poised to do it.
15-0, 18-1, 29-4. I mean, this is going to be the case at the beginning of the season, I would say, for any SEC team. And kind of, I wouldn't say any, but most of them, because of the challenges that they have to face. But talk about the challenges around the SEC this season. From what you've seen, how much more competitive is it going to be than what we're seeing right now?
It'll be a bunch more competitive. And Samford is a good program. Like they're a team that's pretty perennially in the national tournament, and they do some damage in there as well. Like, they're a team that people really don't like to be seeded against. So it was pretty impressive what Tennessee did, and Samford brought a good fight, and Tennessee was able to respond in all 3 games. And even though they had to do it from at a deficit in 2 of them. So I thought it was a pretty impressive performance over the weekend for Tennessee to salvage that series when you looked at teams across the SEC and across the country that are ranked who did drop games, so like an LSU to Omaha type of situation. But those LSU teams, those Texas A&M teams, I mean, you go down the list of the SEC, and pretty much all of them, like maybe Missouri doesn't look too great right now, but a lot of these SEC teams look like powerhouses, like they usually do. And that's just kind of the SEC across all sports, but especially baseball, where they're just by far the best conference in the sport. So Tennessee will have their work cut out for them when they have to play some of these games, like a Vanderbilt that always gets feisty because of that proximity, obviously, in Tennessee. So I'm not expecting them to run the table in SEC play as well and maybe look as dominant on offense when they have to start facing some of these SEC pitching staffs. But, man, I mean, I think they have to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win the SEC title again.
Ryan Sylvia joining us right now from the Vol Report. You can follow him on X at Ryan T. Sylvia. And you mentioned the fact that, you've got guys on the bench and you're trying to figure out how to make a place for them or something like that. I know that obviously weekend games are your premium games once you get into SEC play, but these midweek games, like for a lot of people in the Tennessee Valley that don't know, Tennessee is playing UNA today. Like that is the game's going to be there. I believe it's 3:30 first pitch in Central Standard Time. So you'll be able to watch that on ESPN Plus. But is this going to be a scenario where you could potentially see a lot more of the younger guys on the bench get that work ahead of SEC play whenever they start these weekend series?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that Tony's done throughout his career is he's really prioritized trying to, first of all, he hates the run rule. So he loves to get those 9-inning games. And I'm not sure if they have the run rule in effect tonight. It's one of those things that both coaches have to agree upon. But he loves to get those extra innings because he likes to be able to unload his bench and get those freshmen or those sophomores, those guys that they're going to have different spots this year, but especially going forward next year and the year after that he thinks he's going to have to rely on. And he likes to get deep into that bullpen too and try to get some guys work, because there really is nothing that compares to actual game reps when there's fans in the stadium. And I'm sure that some of these freshmen will have tougher times facing Tennessee pitchers in practice than UNA pitchers out there today, but it's still like that pressure that this gets logged in the stat book and you can Google your name, this at bat will come up. That type of pressure you really can't get anywhere else than in-game action. And one thing that's been cool about this year for Tennessee in that regard is Tony's kind of shaking the lineup up at the beginning of the year. I think he's partially still trying to figure out what he wants to do. Like if there was a big SEC game tomorrow, what would his lineup be? I think he probably is starting to get an idea, but there's still some positions that are completely up for grabs. So he hasn't shied away from making Jay Abernathy a true freshman, a designated hitter, from getting Levi Clark some starts because he's just been so dominant in all of his plate appearances and really mixing things up kind of where they are in the field as well. We've seen that middle infield spot, like Dean Curley's played short and third. Ariel Antigua's played second and short. They'll move Andrew Fisher, an Ole Miss transfer from. He's played a lot of first, but he's kind of more naturally a third baseman. Like they're not afraid to shake things up in that regard either. So it's been fun to watch him kind of plug and play different guys as he gets a bunch of guys different reps.
Also, how funny is it that you actually had to start a sentence off by saying, look, Tony Vitello hates the 10-run rule. I mean, he just, it's something that they're having to deal with. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what kind of luxury is this when you're sitting here and you have to make that statement? Because it's like, guys, I got bench warmers over here that I need to get them some work just in case we need them during SEC play.
And he keeps track of it too. It's pretty funny. We'll be at the end of the season and he'll be like, well, I mean, if you look back at the run rules, we've lost 8 innings of work. So those are innings that could have went to this guy and this guy. So it's a pain in his side. I think he understands that, not everyone wants to play a full 9 innings when sometimes the score gets so lopsided, like we saw against UNC Asheville last week, where it was 29-4. So it makes sense that some teams aren't going to necessarily want that run rule, but it definitely pains Tony a little bit when he feels like he gets shorted 2 innings of work.
Well, and I know that we do need to talk basketball with you, but the other thing with Tennessee baseball is I know that there's supposed to be, is it a court hearing tomorrow for Alberto Osuna? Is that still going on? Like, what is the situation with him and trying to get eligible?
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff that's pretty still up in the air. It's tough to say like what exactly is going to happen. It feels kind of like an uphill battle right now to get him eligible. Tennessee's going to fight for it. They think that he could be a really big piece of this team. When he did join the team before the season and practices, like he was raking at the plate. He looked like everything they wanted out of a first baseman. And as I mentioned earlier, right now it's kind of been Andrew Fisher's job at first base, and he's done a fine job in the field, but he's naturally a third baseman. So it's something that they would love to be able to get Ozuna cleared and to be able to get him on the field and in the box, and it just makes them so much deeper. Is this team's ceiling or floor dramatically changed if he's eligible or not? I don't think so. Like, I don't think at the end of the season we'll be sitting here and saying, man, well, if they had that one extra player, that could have been the difference in this or that game. I don't think that'll be the case, but they still want him. They're still going to fight for it. We'll just have to, I guess, sit back and see how it works out.
Ryan Sylvia from Vol Report is our guest, and hopefully Coach Vitello won't have to be too upset about this matchup tonight, because, of course, this is a North Alabama team that's actually pretty impressive. They got to play up against Auburn. They kept it close. They played against Army, took 2 of those games. I mean, this is going to be a good little challenge for the Volunteers in this, I would say, preseason play. That's how I'll look at it. But regardless, we do need to talk some basketball. Tennessee facing off against LSU tonight. It's going to be an exciting one. You're playing in Baton Rouge. Talk a little bit about, what Tennessee really needs to do to make sure this one doesn't get away from them, because, again, this is one of the easier teams, and that's saying it very lightly. Mm-hmm. LSU, down at the bottom echelon of this conference. Talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, down at the bottom of the conference, but still not a team that you can sleepwalk into, especially on the road and win a game. We saw Florida kind of have trouble down there recently. They were able to pull that game out, and I think part of the deal for Tennessee to avoid getting in a game like that Florida got into against the Tigers is getting off to a nice start, and that's been something that's kind of plagued them here and there, and it wasn't a nice start against Texas A&M. They were able to survive, but I think it would go a long way if they could get off to a good start. And on the road against Oklahoma, we saw Tennessee do that, and they just poured it on them, and it wasn't even close. And it doesn't have to be to that degree where they were just unconscious from the field and the defense was suffocating. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect like it felt at Oklahoma. But if you can get off to a good start, if Charles Lanier can start hitting some shots early, if you can get some of the second half magic that the Zakai Ziegler's had the last two games to translate to the first half and get Igor Milicic going and things like that, then I think you look up at the scoreboard and things are maybe a double-digit lead earlier than later, and maybe that takes a bit of the crowd out of it, and that kind of demoralizes LSU a little bit. So to me, what I want to see is Tennessee come out, get to a good start, don't fall into that early hole, and really start to put pressure on LSU, because with the defense you have, if you can take that type of lead, it's really tough for teams to get back in the game.
No doubt about that one. And coming off of a big win against Texas A&M, actually Rick Barnes' 50th win against the top 10 opponent, and he joins 10 other coaches throughout the history of college basketball. Definitely an impressive feat right there. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that. But at the same time, we've got plenty of players to talk about as well that have been really putting out for this Tennessee Volunteers squad. Chaz Lanier, the one that put up the big numbers in that last matchup. Talk about how he's able to finally get back into that groove with this team.
It feels like Tennessee kind of, they wake up for those big games, and they've been phenomenal in those top 5, top 10 type of matchups. And, Alabama's coming to Knoxville this weekend, and I fully expect Tennessee to wake up for that game. We'll see if they can pull it out. Like even when they went on the road to play Auburn, that was one of the best games of the season because of how narrow and tight it was and how well both teams kind of executed their game plans, and Tennessee was able to make it such a kind of in the mud type of game and low scoring how they wanted it. And it almost worked out for them in the end. So just the way that throughout Rick Barnes' tenure that his teams have shown up in these top ranked battles, it's been really impressive. Chaz Lanier, though, he just seems so much comfortable now than at the beginning of SEC play. This has been the toughest kind of season of facing defenses he's had. At UNF, on a nightly basis, you're not having to battle against these SEC teams who have these freak athletes all over the floor and are executing their game plans and honing in on you specifically and not letting you come off that screen and get a clean shot off. So it's been a bit of an adjustment for him once SEC play started. And the coaches like to joke about his jersey getting pulled. Like they're like, if you look on the court at any given time of the game, his jersey's probably untucked. And it's because while he's trying to wrap around a screen, while he's trying to get open, these defenders are just yanking on his jersey and trying not to let him pass. So that's been kind of a funny thing to see because they're right. He does play with his jersey untucked a lot, and usually he walks onto the floor with it tucked in. But he's really adjusted well. He's seeing defenses better, and with how quick his shot is, like the speed that he gets those shots off and how accurate they still are, he doesn't need much space. So when he's finally able to get these little slivers of space like he has recently, it just feels like money every time.
Well, and Ryan, you mentioned Alabama. You talked about obviously the game tonight, but we are getting close to SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. What is it that you kind of do want to see from this team that you're saying, okay, they really need to work on this to get this solidified before they try to make a deep run into the NCAA tournament?
They've got to figure out some sort of consistent offense, and that's very basic and a lot easier said than done, right? But you can't go into March and have a big question mark on what you're going to get on the offensive end every single game, because that's a really good way to have a night where shots aren't falling. And in any round of the 64 or all the way down to the Elite Eight Final Four, you're going to get caught in a game that you're not shooting well. And every team's going to face that, but where can you rely to get consistent offense? Is it Chaz Lanier? Can he keep this going? Are you going to be able to rely on him for not necessarily 30 points a night, but can he get kind of that 15 plus and be a big threat? Is Zakai Ziegler going to be able to facilitate the offense for 44 minutes, which is really tough, and he's done such a fantastic job this season. But the last two games, it's been kind of here and there in the first half, and then all of a sudden explosion in the second half. Can that be maybe more of a consistent thing? Igor Milicic, he's dealing with injuries, but he's had games where he scored a bunch of points. To me, it's just, can you get some of these guys like a Jordan Gainey too, where they don't need to go off for 30 plus points a night, but can you get some consistency? You know what you're going to get out of them. They're going to hit the shots that you need from them, and you rely on that defense, and then that's a good formula. But can you kind of iron out those offensive kinks here and there before SEC tournament play and then NCAA tournament play, more importantly, start?
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. And of course, when you look at Rick Barnes and what he's been able to do across his time with Tennessee, he's going to get one more chance this season, at least, to face off against a top 10 opponent. And of course, that's going to be Alabama this weekend. You can listen to that on our station as well as ESPN Winchester. But Ryan, before we get you out of here, there's something that I feel like not enough people are talking about, at least nationally, and that's the competitiveness, I would say, over in the women's conference as well. Just because you see Tennessee kind of in the middle echelon of the SEC, and they're sitting at 21-6. I mean, it's outrageous. Talk a little bit about the parity of the men's and, of course, the SEC women's side of things.
It's great to see the parity start to come to life in the women's side of things, because for so long it was just kind of a chalk NCAA tournament bracket, and that's not great for the life of the game. And the more interest that people have shown in it, which is great to see, and the more talent that's kind of risen through the ranks and gotten to the college game now, we're seeing upsets in March now, and we're seeing kind of the thrill that we've had on the men's side for so long translate over to that women's side, and now it's showing in the regular season where, I mean, any given night, the number one team in the country is getting kind of scared at. We just saw Notre Dame. We've seen South Carolina take some hits, and what Dawn Staley's built over there was just absolutely remarkable. So to say that she's been able to get caught by a couple teams this year, like that's pretty incredible given the talent she has, and it shows that parity. And the Lady Vols are obviously not any stranger to being at the top of this sport, but they've kind of taken a step back in about the last decade. And if for a first-year coach to come in and make this much noise and be ranked the number 11 team in the country, and I know they're not in the business of moral victories, but to be able to play close with all these top teams and then finally get over the hump against UConn and then defend your home court against Alabama. And now on Thursday, you have a game against Kentucky that it feels like if Tennessee wins that game, they're probably a 4 seed or better. Like, it feels pretty locked up, and that means you're hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament as well. So you really couldn't ask for much better of a season in year one of Kim Caldwell. And I mean, they feel like they could get hot. Like they were close against LSU in both games. They were just short against South Carolina, and they beat UConn, as I said. So who's to say that doesn't continue in March, and then maybe you finally get over that hump, and in year one you make yourself a really nice tournament run.
No doubt about that. You know what they say, competition spawns winners, and that's exactly what we're seeing in the SEC. It truly does mean more. I know I said that 1,000 times.
Please.
Regardless, Ryan, appreciate you hopping on with us as always, giving us all the info we need to know. What should we be looking forward to over on volreport.com?
We got you covered. Everything Tennessee Athletics. It's an everything school. Football, spring practice coming around the corner, and they're looking to get back to the playoffs with Nico Imaliava at the helm. Men's basketball, of course, in the fight for a 1 seed. Women's basketball trying to finish strong and secure a top 4 seed. Baseball in the argument for number 1 team in the country. Softball they just had a pitcher tie the record that was already owned by a former Lady Vol of fastest pitch ever in a collegiate softball game. So, I mean, everywhere you look on Tennessee's campus, they've got some really good teams, and we're doing our best job to cover all of them. So head over to volreport.com to stay up to date with all of it.
All right, real quick, who owned the record before it was just broken?
It was Monica Abbott, and then Carlin Pickens just tied up.
Joey was talking to me the other day, and he was like, I think I could smoke a softball pitch. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. If you actually get in front of it, Joe, it's gonna come at you a lot faster.
No,
how fast was this thing thrown?
I think it was 77, but it's a lot closer than the baseball mound. So it comes at you like it's 100 something. And man, slow pitch softball, yeah, you can take that thing a mile, but I would not want to be in the zone. Those things rise too. Like a baseball, you can't get much rise on it. Their fastballs, all of a sudden they're rising. They throw a slider that's going one way, a changeup that's going the other. It's incredible. I don't know how hitters put them in play half the time against Carlin Pickens.
Yeah, we got to get Joe out there so he can.
Yes, now this is my problem. Here's what happened is over the weekend I worked for the Rocket City showcase, and so I worked like 6 softball games over the last like 3 days. Okay, and I'm watching these things, and I'm literally, first off, the softball field is at Toyota Field, which was the Trash Pandas baseball field. So they actually placed it on the baseball field. I think that's my issue, is because I see the softball field on the baseball field, and I went, wait, so for me to hit a home run, all I've got to do is hit it to like shallow center? Like, I feel like I can do that.
They don't pop as much off the bat either. It's tougher. It's tougher than it looks, but it can be deceiving. With how short the fence is, I agree though. All of a sudden you're like, man, I could carry that, and then you get in the box, and it's, first of all, you can't make contact, and then feel like you barrel one up and it's a shallow fly out.
Yeah, and then it didn't help because the girl from Mississippi State that was leading off in one of these games, she barely even made contact with it, and it sent it 30 feet over the fence. And I'm just going, okay. Like, I'm sitting and I'm like, home run. But in my head, I'm going, I could do this.
You got to remember,
I know
Joe,
I could do this.
We're watching some of the best of the best. All right. When it comes down to it, the SEC is where you got to be.
I know.
Softball.
I understand, but still.
Regardless, we're going to set that up, Joe. We're going to get you in front of a pitcher for a softball. Also, Brian, before we get you out of here, has Josh Heupel said anything about a spring game and the possibility of just totally omitting it from this year?
He has not. We haven't talked to him really since the end of last season, so I'm sure that'll be on the docket of questions we'll ask him once we do get him with the media again. But I mean, I have no clue what his plan is to do going forward. They have one scheduled for this year, so they'll play one this season. But going forward, it'll be interesting because, man, those spring games at Tennessee, like you see teams like Ole Miss make it kind of fun and do things here and there. Tennessee is extraordinarily boring. So we'll see what they want to do going forward with it. But there is one this year. We do know that. We have a date. We have everything set for that. So this year, fans can be excited for that one.
Very much appreciate the transparency. Ryan Sylvia, always great having you on. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the basketball, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Good stuff as always. Find him on Twitter or X. Ryan T. Sylvia is where you need to find him. I know our ESPN Winchester people are going to love that one, as well as all of the Vols fans in the Tennessee Valley, because there are quite a few of them. Similar to Mississippi State fans, Joe. There are a lot of them.
No, and I actually, Grace Anello, I sent her a picture of Mississippi State being on the field on Saturday, and it didn't even click with me until I started hearing the cowbells. And I went, oh my heavens, they brought cowbells to the softball game.
They have spawned.
They did. I was like, there's cowbells at the softball game.
You probably looked down and you saw Grace Anello in the crowd.
No, I did. I was like, how are you not here? Like, you talk all this stuff about Mississippi State. They are playing softball I bet you if it was a volleyball team that was playing, you would be here for it. I bet you that you would be.
Probably.
Yes.
She used to play volleyball. That's why.
I know. All right. No, now you have me wondering about the softball thing. Okay.
All right. No, we're gonna make sure you're ready for it. We're gonna take it to break. We're gonna talk a little bit about how we can set this thing up, Joe. And I'm gonna get to see you either strike out or hit a home run, and we'll make a whole Eli Manning, kicking a field goal type of thing out of it. Either way, we'll take it to break, take it to the final segment of the first hour. Continue listening because you're listening to the Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Alabama Crimson Tide 18-1 with the SEC regular season title, laying 8.5 at home at Mississippi State today at the Coleman Coliseum. 171.5 the total. Auburn minus 1,100 to win the regular season title. They're at home with Ole Miss tomorrow. College baseball today, the Auburn Tigers a $2.38 favorite over the Samford Bulldogs. Mississippi State a $1.75 favorite against Troy plus 135. NASCAR this week, it's the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, for the Echo Park, Texas Grand Prix. Connor Zilich and Shane Van Gisbergen, the 5-1 co-favorite. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Been thinking about what kind of truck you need to pull that big boat or shiny Airstream Classic? I'd like to invite you to feel the torque of an F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. It combines the forces of gas and electric power for over 11,000 pounds of towing muscle. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, where you can test drive over 200 new F-150s. And you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on a 24 XLT 4x4 with the Power Boost engine. Save over $13,000 on F-150 today. On your way to a growing family or already have one? Then a Woody Anderson Ford Expedition is your ticket to ride. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 24 Expedition at Woody Anderson Ford. $12,000 off Expedition. And there's more too. Get up to $8,000 off MSRP on the Agile and Sporty Escape ST line. And with a versatile 2024 Edge, you're looking at up to $10,000 off MSRP only at Woody Anderson Ford. Bring on the savings. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Sometimes the coolest little gems are found a little off the beaten path, and that's exactly where you will find Hickory Store Barbecue. They are on Blake Bottom Road, just east of Jeff Road, and it's definitely worth the trip. The smokers are going on site daily, and they have the best smoked wings around. You'll love the fireplace and the covered patio, and best of all, Hickory Store Barbecue is locally owned and operated by the McAlpins. They even have rotating craft beer taps and live music weekly. Hickory Store Barbecue. Go see what you're missing. Blake Bottom Road in Monrovia. You'll thank me later.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A fantastic Tuesday afternoon across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s. We also get to enjoy plenty of sunshine, dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight. Early into your Wednesday morning, a sunny sky. Wednesday afternoon, we're going to see temperatures consistently climb into the lower 70s across the Tennessee Valley, dropping into the upper 40s, lower 50s as we head into the overnight. Early Thursday morning, a little bit of rain is going to move into the Tennessee Valley during that time. Rain should be out of here by the time we get to the lunch hour on Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Attention, may I have the camp's attention?
Your home of the college football playoffs.
Playoffs?
Is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Playoffs?
There ain't nothing like Tennessee mountaintop. Some straight shooting hitters that don't hang tight.
Welcome back.
Trying to give John signals.
You gotta learn sign language,
Dude,
Joe.
you were like a deer in the headlights right then. You had no idea what I was trying to say.
Better than being a goat in the headlights. Maybe not.
No,
Maybe.
I don't think a goat gets scared by headlights the way that a deer does.
I think a goat could also defend the car if it's coming at you.
No, that's a ram.
Well, goats have little horns too, Joe.
Yes, but they're not going to do the damage a ram would do. You do. Anyways,
Presented by Dodge.
Please.
I'm joking. We're not.
Please.
What were you trying to do over there?
No, tell me about whatever you were trying to tell me in the studio. Just what was this that you were talking about? Some picture that you have on ZZN TV or something. I don't know exactly what it is.
Did the camera just go back the wrong way? Why is the camera on the wrong thing? Joe, can you fix that? I don't know if you are able to fix that.
I can fix
regardless.
it. There you go.
Did you do it?
Yes.
What am I looking at? Oh, it's the other stream. I see. Okay, Joe, I wanted to throw this at you, okay? So we got a new character in the Huntsville lore, in the Rocket City, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The HCFC has shown off their brand new mascot. It's almost that season, Joe. We're about to have a little bit of soccer right across the street. Oh, wait, I can't say that anymore.
No, it's not
we
across
have
the street
moved.
from us anymore. It's down the street.
But regardless, there's a lot of construction. A lot of people are talking about it. It's very exciting. And of course, they had to put a face to the brand, because if it's just going to be Huntsville Soccer Club or Huntsville, HCFC Football Club and all that stuff, it's similar to like Washington Football Club, where it was just like, oh, there's a pig. That's their mascot. What was that?
I don't know.
That was
Keep
not
going.
a pig, Joe. You jumped in front. It's a goat.
Oh, wait, is it?
There it is.
It really, wait, that really is a goat.
It's a goat. His name is Martin, and he is actually pretty freaking cool. I don't care what people say.
Is he sponsored by Lockheed Martin?
I'm going to protect him with all I can.
No, he actually looks pretty sweet. I actually was kind of nervous about this when you said this.
You thought, what do you think it was going to be?
I had no idea what it would be. Would it be a rocket? I don't know what it would be.
You thought it was going to be like a sheep or
I
something?
didn't know if it was going to be like old Joe Davis himself. Like, I didn't really realize what this was going to be, what you were going to be showcasing. I had no idea.
Oh, he's really cool, actually. He in the pictures, he had the ball on his head, which is ideal. You want to be able to put the ball on your head if you were a mascot.
Was it in between
for
the
soccer.
horns?
Yes.
Was it being held up by the horns?
Yes.
Okay, that's even cooler.
He didn't have to use his hands or anything. He is adorable. Binding of Isaac's the first thing that comes to mind, if anybody gets that. But yeah, I'm actually going to have to go to a few more games this year just so I can take a picture with him, because now we have Sprocket, we have Havoc and Ruckus, and now we got Martin.
Do you know what Home Field is? Have you ever looked at the Home Field website?
No, I haven't.
Okay, Home Field is a brand that throws out retro gear.
Ooh.
They just announced, and I'm saying this for you and for you alone, Thursday at 9 a.m., they are dropping the Dale Earnhardt collection.
Oh, my goodness. Are we getting a jacket?
There are jackets, there are T-shirts, there are hats, and they are all retro NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt, raise hell, believe in Dale.
Yes, sir.
That's what this is.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's Daily Update on Bama Sports, and it's brought to you by Everwood Treatment Company, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. Everwood, wood treated right. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Following Alabama's dramatic comeback win against Auburn on Sunday, we were joined on the radio by women's basketball head coach Christy Curry.
Team down by 16. How did you rally back at the end of the second quarter, take control of this game?
Well, just credit our kids. I thought our crowd really got into it, so credit our crowd. But they really got behind us for, 3 games in 7 days. It kind of looked like. So just credit our kids for getting down deep and getting things going on the defensive end when we got stops and got out in transition. It's hard to play against those guys in the half court. We didn't want it to become a half court game. We were able to get some stops. So happy for our senior class. Amazing crowd. Just thank everybody that came out today from the bottom of my heart. You were the difference in this game. Just fueled our kids' energy defensively.
I'll have more in a moment.
Producing championship quality lumber is not an easy process, but at Everwood Preserving, it's our only process. Wood treated right. Everwood offers top-notch pressure-treated wood for decks, outdoor structures, commercial jobs, and more that you can build your reputation on. When it comes to quality, we're on the winning team. Visit your local Everwood dealer today and discover the difference for yourself. Everwood Preserving Incorporated, the official lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
We've got you covered this afternoon for Alabama baseball and men's basketball later this evening all across the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Our coverage for baseball will begin at 3:45 p.m. against Jacksonville State, and for men's basketball with the 8 p.m. tip-off, Alabama against Mississippi State coverage will begin on the network at 7 p.m. Central. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Everwood. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, Savings never tasted so good. Click on that, then enter in the big zone deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Alabama Crimson Tide 18-1 with the SEC regular season title, laying 8.5 at home at Mississippi State today at the Coleman Coliseum. 171.5 the total. Auburn minus 1,100 to win the regular season title. They're at home at Ole Miss tomorrow. College baseball today, the Auburn Tigers a $2.38 favorite over the Samford Bulldogs. Mississippi State a $1.75 favorite against Troy plus 135. NASCAR this week, it's the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, for the Echo Park, Texas Grand Prix. Connor Zilich and Shane Van Gisbergen, the 5-1 co-favorite. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A quiet night across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s. Another day filled with ample sunshine across the area as we head into your Wednesday. We're also going to be a little bit warmer Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s. Cloud cover should begin to increase across the Tennessee Valley as we head into Wednesday evening and then through the overnight. Early into Thursday morning, temperatures only drop into the upper 40s and lower 50s. We're also going to begin to see a little bit of rain move into the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. I am Joe Hunk. He is John Abraham. You can follow us on X977 ESPN is where you can watch WZZN TV. You can also watch it on YouTube as well as Facebook as we continue in the second hour.
I messed up.
You did mess up.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the comments.
He's
now.
so fresh. It's so fresh. The GOAT. His name is Marshall. It's not Martin. Dumbass.
Marshall.
They're close
Space
names.
Flight Center.
Yeah, but Martin, though.
Martin? That's why I asked if he was sponsored by Lockheed Martin.
No. But isn't there
It's Chaos, by the way. You said Havoc and Ruckus.
You know, I'm woke up, but my brain still ain't working. Marshall is the name.
Marshall.
Martin wouldn't have been
He's
bad.
Look, John is actually kind of sidetracked right now because once I announced all the Dale Earnhardt stuff that was about to go on sale on Home Field, he then started just looking at everything NASCAR that was on the website. And so I'm trying very hard to get him back over here because he can't stop looking at it.
Okay, Matthew's in the chat, and he was the one that corrected me. All right, I noticed that.
Yes.
And I very much appreciate that. That's what the chat's for, so you can throw out stuff all you want without having to interrupt the phone lines, which they are open. 256 576 97.7 is the number to get into the programming as we're having a fun Tuesday that's honestly flown by. I felt like I was just doing talking ball just a second ago, but I appreciate Matthew because he throws it out in a very nice way. And then he also just like, I'm going to double down. He also got Havoc? No, it's Chaos.
It's Chaos.
I should know this. These guys have been my buddies for years now. But regardless, I don't drink coffee because it messes me up in the morning, man.
No, I tried to offer it to you that day because I was like, hey, you want me to order you something and you can just go pick it up? No, you refuse.
I had to stop that, especially because the toilets weren't working that amazing here. But
they're back.
They're back, so I might hop back into coffee. Who knows?
Yeah, they're back. Also, is back as the NFL Combine. You also now a lot of head coaches are speaking with the media as we speak, and as a matter of fact. Brian Callahan just met with the media, and he was asked a lot of questions about Shadir Sanders, Cam Ward, as well as Travis Hunter. And he said that Travis Hunter right now is a day one starter at the cornerback position. And that,
I can see that.
And that there is potential that you could also interject him in the offense as well with certain packages.
I could also see that. I don't think this is a player that we're going to see just totally revolutionize the way that NFL players are looked at. Where it's a dude that could play both offense, defense, just all the way through seamlessly. He is going to be involved on both sides of the ball. It is going to be limited into certain packages, similar to how we see some guys in the past be thrown in as like a DB on like the last play of the game. He's just going to have that a little bit more and on the other side of the ball.
There's a lot more defensive linemen also that get put in on like jumbo packages at the goal line and stuff. So, that is what Callahan was at least talking about just a little while ago, because they are meeting with the media before everything kind of gets going. Thursday is when activity on the field starts to happen. And so you're going to start seeing, I want to say it's defensive ends, I believe, are going to be working out on day one. And so, there was the new general manager for the Tennessee Titans, Mike Bergonzi. He was asked about Shadir Sanders, talked about how his arm strength, he likes his arm strength. He thinks that he actually has plenty of arm. He doesn't know where that is coming from. And so a lot of the question does revolve around the fact that the two players that are being connected to the number one spot in the draft, being Shadir Sanders and Abdul Carter, both of those players have said that they're not going to be working out at the combine. So the question is, well, what can you get from the combine from them? And a lot of this boils down to now the face-to-face meetings. Like it is. And if you have not watched the Hard Knocks from the New York Giants, outside of the funny parts where they're like, we can't let Saquon Barkley go because if he becomes an Eagle, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I know what he's doing. He's fitting himself for a new ring.
Yes.
But they, on the other hand, are trying to find another quarterback, because they chose the quarterback over that, and that quarterback didn't even finish the season with that team.
Even God has no power over the Giants now.
No, absolutely not. And so it is one that if you go back and watch, the best part of the show outside of the comedy that was the Saquon Barkley stuff was all the video from the combine itself. And they showed a lot of video of what these players do in these meetings with the coaches and the general managers.
Talk about intimidating.
Yeah, that is what, go back and watch it before all of this stuff starts this weekend. And you're going to be able to see what a lot of these players are about to do at some point in time while they're in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see it all unfold as well, because we've got some guys that you throw out their name and you're like, oh, he's dumb as bricks, but he's a really good athlete. There's one person I could throw out in particular.
Didn't you?
You could say that. A lot of people, it's a mixed bag right now. And I feel like, Joe, that we've already buried this conversation and we've already left it in the third round, maybe the second round, late second round, possibly.
Don't you dare say his name. Don't you dare say his name.
Chris Trapasso from CBS.
That name you can say.
He brought up his list of, top prospects for every single position. And he threw out QB2. And this has been the biggest thing.
Oh, you're talking about Cam Ward. Okay.
No, I'm talking about Jalen Milroe.
Okay, no, you are talking about Cam Ward.
No, Cam Ward is first on his list.
Okay, no, then what?
I thought the same thing, but Joe, he is doubling down on what we've said in the past, all right? It may start as a surprise, yes. This is quote from the report. I have
put my head down.
Yeah, just think about this one.
No, I'm not thinking about
Okay, he's just not thinking at all. I have Milroe at QB2. Anthony Richardson's flop in 2024 shouldn't hurt Milroe's draft prospects. He is raw, but in my estimation, he grew as a passer at Alabama. What the hell? What games was he watching? You know what? I'm not going to go crazy yet. I'm not going to. Okay.
Let me know when you're done.
Possesses a stronger arm than Warden Sanders. I can't
actually,
deny
I can't disagree with
that.
that actually is true.
And pre-combine, it feels like his athleticism is being massively undersold. That's the one thing that's not being undersold, Joe.
No.
That's the one thing that everybody's pushing, that everybody knows is the best part about this guy.
No, the athleticism is the reason the man keeps getting chances.
It's everything else.
Like, it's the reason he continues to get chances.
The Senior Bowl. Arkansas. Wait, was it Arkansas? It was Arkansas.
Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma, sorry.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
It wasn't Arkansas. Thank God.
Vandy.
They look the same, though.
I mean, he also fumbled 6 times against Auburn, but it's Auburn,
I forgot the camera follows me. It's got to stop sometimes.
Yeah, the camera follows you. You're not dropping. Unlike me, where the camera doesn't follow me, I'm just I can put my head down and just want to bang my head up against the table, but I don't want to do it because I don't want to break the table.
Yeah. I wonder why that table's broken.
Probably because of all of us banging our heads up against it, because everybody keeps wanting to say that Jalen Milroe is going to be a halfway decent quarterback in the NFL. No, he's not.
Well, there's a chance, Joe.
No, it doesn't matter.
Set it in stone.
Because here's the thing is as much as I bash him and I say that he's not a good NFL quarterback, Mac Jones is 10 times the scholar of NFL knowledge that what Jalen Milroe is. He just isn't good when making the decisions. Okay, you cannot that there's a big difference in this. There's a reason why Matthew Stafford was like your quarterback when you were in high school, and now your kid's quarterback when he's in high school. Because the amount of time and effort it takes for the knowledge and learning and film study and ability to make adjustments and changes in footwork and everything that you need to do. Like my son yesterday was warm outside. We went outside and I said, you know what, man, let's hit some balls.
It was a beautiful day.
It was a beautiful day. So we go outside, we hit about 5 or 6 baseballs just to kind of get him kind of back in the motion and everything like that. And he's like, all right, I'm done. I'm good. And I'm like, dude, no, you're not. He's like, but look at the last one I hit. Look how good it was. I was like, no, you have to practice like the same thing 6,000 times. You've got to go over everything like 6,000 times. You can't just do it once and be done. It's the same thing in football. The amount of video that you watch in the NFL, the amount of adjustments that you make in the NFL, the amount of changing that happens between Saturday night when you go to sleep and Sunday morning before you step on the field, it is ridiculous at how much knowledge plays into this. Look, kids, I'm just letting you know, and I know you're in school right now, but you're probably listening with your earpiece in on 97.7 ESPN, the Zones app. I'll tell you right now, okay? I don't care about you going to school to try to be, learn about the triple algebra questions. It's not about that.
Follow your dreams.
No. What this is about is learning how to study. That is what it's about, okay? Learning how to study. We literally send you to school for 12 years to learn how to study and to find something you're interested in. And I promise you, I work harder now studying stuff for football than what I ever did when it comes to school. I study more hockey, more basketball, more baseball, more football now than I ever thought about studying in total when I was in school. It's about figuring out how to study. That's what this is about. He doesn't want to do that at all. 256-576-4977. Brandon, welcome in to the Blitz, man. How's it going?
Man, this guy that wrote this column, it really makes you wonder how these people have a job.
No, I agree. No. And I feel like this is almost like clickbait. I really genuinely do.
Oh, it definitely was. It was the picture. The picture was Jalen Milroe, and it was like QB2. Like, he knows what he's doing with this thing. Behind him, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, Kyle McCord.
And people are actually saying that Jackson Dart is the best quarterback in the draft.
Kyle McCord, not too shabby either.
I see people write these columns, and anybody that's casually watched Alabama games knows that everything he's saying in there is totally off base.
It's true, though. But in my estimation, he has grown as a passer at Alabama. I wanted to see growth. I saw growth at the beginning of the season, 2024, when it started. I thought, this is it. They were playing against cupcake teams, POS teams. We talked about it plenty before.
POSs.
When it got into the real ball, when it got into SEC play, which a majority of these guys aren't going to make it to the NFL, but some of them will, it went downhill. So how do you expect him to play better in the NFL where they are all NFL caliber players?
Well, we would say that his weakest ability to throw the ball was between 5 and 30 yards, correct?
Oh, I was going to say between the years, but yes, 5 and 30.
Okay, well.
Those medium passes were bad, yeah.
Joe's kung fu fighting this afternoon. Good
Look,
Lord.
it's the truth. And everybody knows it's the truth. And here's what's crazy about this, Brandon, is if you truly want to see what a group or what people think about a person, just go and look at what they are saying locally about him. That's the part about this that blows me away.
Yeah.
Is it's not like the whole it's not like this scenario with Derrick Henry when Derrick Henry left and you're saying, you know what, this guy could be a beast. Like, you won the Heisman Trophy, man, could be a beast. All right. It wasn't like everybody behind Derrick Henry was going, this guy sucks. Like, I don't know what on earth people in the NFL are seeing from this guy, but he is not going to be a good running back in the NFL.
I don't think anybody would want to do that.
He may make it 5 years. He may not even make it through his first rookie deal. Like, nobody was saying that about Derrick Henry. Okay, I don't know a person in the state of Alabama that is actually complimenting Jalen Milroe in his decision to go to the NFL.
There's always an and or but beside it, you know?
Well, watching Jalen throw the ball, and out of respect for Joe, I won't say his name, the quarterback at Auburn last year, despite his turnovers, I thought he was a better overall throwing quarterback than Milroe.
In some instances, there definitely were.
That's your line.
Peyton Thorne, by the way, Joe.
We literally just made that statement. And what's bad about it is I can't agree or disagree because I mean, that's the part. Like, if it was that big of a difference, I'd be like, no, dude, you're crazy. Like, you are I know I hate on Auburn, but there's no way that could be the truth. But even I'm sitting here going,
even Thorne was making those throws at the beginning of the season. Even late against some teams.
It was against A&M.
The turnovers with Thorne was what made it bad. But if you isolate that one standard, he was a better throwing quarterback than Milroe.
At times, it seemed like it. That's for sure.
I mean, I'll tell you, y'all watched this basketball game yesterday. I'm sure Joe did.
Yeah, it was like 49-8 at one point in time.
Yeah, I can watch Ace Austin throw a basketball 80 feet and hit Maggie Jarrett right in the hands with it. And Jalen Milroe can't do that with a football.
So what you're saying is that she could have been a Heisman contender at quarterback for Alabama.
Dude, she is Heisman, Miss America, whatever in my book. On anything you want to do. If you want to dance, throw darts, whatever, I will put my money on her, all 5'7", 136 pounds of her, on anything she does.
Yeah,
I'm saying you got an athlete that can throw a basketball 80 feet and just about hit you in the hands with it, but we've got a quarterback that can't throw the ball 30 yards and get it in a catchable radius.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And we appreciate that call, Brandon. Good stuff from you. We got to hit a break, sadly. We would talk with the listeners all the way through. But,
we do. And Johnny on the cell is next. We're going to get to him as well when we come back, as apparently Jalen Milroe is the number 2 quarterback. Sorry, I can't.
According to maybe one guy, maybe one dude. Could be.
May have had a lot of whiskey before he wrote the article. No question about at least wondering the validity of this, but we'll continue get to your phone calls as we go on the Blitz 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Somebody might agree with him.
WCCN TV.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you paint your body, your car, and your dog your school colors? Maybe, but it means more than that. It means your alumni network includes the state, the country, and beyond. It means your school ring doubles as your resume. And yeah, you better believe it means more titles, like doctor, CEO, and your honor. Because this is the SEC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be part of the Southeastern Conference? That yours is the only conference with its own chant? Well, yes, but it means more than that. It means a study abroad program that might include reforestation in a mangrove swamp in Australia. It means finding your calling, your future spouse, your startup's co-founders, and of course, grilling tongs that play your fight song. This is the SEC, and here, it just means more.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Been thinking about what kind of truck you need to pull that big boat or shiny Airstream Classic? I'd like to invite you to feel the torque of an F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. It combines the forces of gas and electric power for over 11,000 pounds of towing muscle. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, where you can test drive over 200 new F-150s. And you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on a 24 XLT 4x4 with the Power Boost engine. Save over $13,000 on F-150 today. On your way to a growing family or already have one? Then a Woody Anderson Ford Expedition is your ticket to ride. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 24 Expedition at Woody Anderson Ford. $12,000 off Expedition. And there's more too. Get up to $8,000 off MSRP on the Agile and Sporty Escape ST line. And with a versatile 2024 Edge, you're looking at up to $10,000 off MSRP only at Woody Anderson Ford. Bring on the savings. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Who run? 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 Who run?
So last week during the Havoc Hour, which is going to be back at Zambruski's tonight at 6 o'clock, all you got to do is just roll into the Iceplex. Right when you walk in, there's going to be steps right in front of you. You go up those steps. It doesn't matter if you go to the rink on the left, or the rink on the right. Head all the way back, and you will see Zambruski's as we are going to be getting going with the Havoc Hour at 6 this evening ahead of Hunt's Vegas night that is going to be taking place on Thursday. And we have our players for the night.
It's been announced. It's been dropped. Where's the ESPN sound?
It has been announced and dropped.
The draft pick sound. Doom, 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 doom.
The Procopios will be joining us.
We get both of them.
We get the brothers back tonight, which is going to be cool for me.
Yeah.
For this, and this is one thing is a personal story on this because my wife actually right now is over at the med mall having to do like a glucose test that you do when you're pregnant.
Understandable.
You know it's really boring. You have to sit there. Have you done that a lot?
Twice.
Yeah, twice. She actually did have to do it twice with our first one because you have to do the test and you have to sit there for like 2 hours. Then you got to do another test and you got to sit there for like an hour. Then you got to do another test. Like, you got to pass it like 2 times. And so she's doing this right now. She should have just come over here and hang out with us because she's at the med mall. She's right down the street from us.
Here, if you want to go pick her up, I'll be right here.
No, she's done. No, she's done now. Like she's calling me. She was calling me just now. But our daughter she's at a daycare. I just found out like a couple of weeks ago that Dom's wife actually works at that daycare as well.
Oh yeah.
And so now I'm like, oh, this is about to be extremely fun. So this is why it's it. So yeah, the Procopio brothers are going to be our guests tonight during the Havoc Hour as Gio and Dom, who also had some fun over the weekend, is going to be joining us there. So we appreciate that. That is now official. We've got that going. So we know who we are going to be welcoming in tonight at Zambruski's. I say every bit of that because last week, Tanya, who's the bartender there, she is amazing. She had an extra scented tree, I guess is what that is. And so she handed it to me. She's like, this smells manly and I don't want it in my house. So you can have it. I was like, all right, cool. Well, today, as we were working on the table, I found it in my bag. And so I opened it up and I hung it inside the studio. strong.
It's stout. It's
It is
stout.
strong.
I'm gonna miss the smell of the wood table, which is absolutely wonderful. But now, Joe, I want to know your thoughts. What does it smell like to you? Because I get taken back to an exact time, exact place whenever I get a certain sniff into my sniffers.
No, what's really bad is for me, it's like all I can think of is like deodorant.
Yes.
It smells like deodorant.
Exactly. 2013 Old Spice Fiji. That's what I get. On my way to Florida, watching Pokemon in the back of the shag wagon. Parents are driving. Can't hear a word that I'm saying. I get the bass from the music, all the 70s songs that my dad's listening to. That's what I remember. Exactly.
It is and I was, what's bad is I think I have Old Spice Fiji that I'm wearing right now. As a matter of fact, I may be off, but I may not be. But no, that is exactly what I'm thinking of right now when I smell this, is that now this smells like an Old Spice commercial.
You smell like a 13-year-old is what you're saying.
No, actually I don't. You know, the reason why I always get it is because I let my wife lets my kids pick out the deodorant for me, and they always go to that one because it has the pictures on the front. That's the only reason they choose that one. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I don't really care.
You know what?
That's what
fine.
that is that smell that I am smelling at this point in time. Also happening down in Birmingham for the Final 48, the 3A girls semifinals is going on right now. Lauderdale County has a 16-point lead on TR Miller, 58-42. That game's only got about 30 seconds to go.
Well, very fun. We're going to be focusing on that just a little bit, but we're also focusing on what's going on within, of course, the college football playoff committee, as well as just the thoughts that are going out about all things NFL with the combine going on now, coming on the 28th.
I genuinely have a question, and I'm not trying to be, I'm really curious about this. 256-576-977. You can also comment on WZZN TV on Facebook, YouTube, or X. But let's just go ahead and say that over the course of the next 700 days, spring games are going to be gone. Let's just go ahead and just assume that. Okay. Because a lot of them are already going to be gone this year. And I think that there are other schools that are probably sitting down now going, dang, I wish we hadn't announced. I really wish we hadn't announced. Like, why are we doing this? Like, I genuinely think there are other schools that are going, see, I told y'all we could have canceled it. But no, y'all just thought that it would be asinine. It would be blasphemy to cancel the spring game. So now we're going to be doing one. Are we really going to miss the spring games?
No.
And that's the reason why I'm asking. Like, I want to know who is going to miss the spring games. Because for me personally, the first year it became big, obviously, not even going to sugarcoat it. Nick Saban made spring games big. Let's just not even act like that's not the case. The moment that Alabama put like 90,000 people inside of Bryant-Denny for a Nick Saban spring game, the game changed. Like, we all know it did.
Well, you also get a cheap way to see, Nick Saban as well as all of the best players. So if you can't go to a regular season game because they can get up there in price, that's the way to do it.
Well, and even with Alabama, like, you have the running of the Gumps. Like, you have that sort of stuff that's just more of fun than it is actually about the game itself. Are we really going to miss spring games? Like, if it wouldn't be, and I'm going to be full disclosure on this, if it wasn't for the job that you have right now, John, how many spring games would you actually think that you would pay attention to when they took place?
Maybe one. Because there's like, I want to watch Alabama, and I know that plenty of our listeners who are Alabama fans are going to be like, I want to get every little bit of Alabama football that I can.
Look, there are absolutely some that do say that.
But I'm interested in some other teams. I was interested in Mizzou last year. I didn't give two about their spring game. I didn't care about Tennessee's spring game. You get to see Nico for 2 seconds and he's gone. I like that. I watch the highlights, if anything.
It's very similar to like the golf thing, whatever ESPN is pumping right now about the indoor golf.
TGL, that thing's badass.
No. See, I turned it on. I think I had it on like maybe casually for a few minutes, and I went, okay, cool. I'm going to something else. Like the moment they went to commercial break, I was like, okay, thank God, I'm changing this because I was just sitting there entranced in this.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it is a little gimmicky, but I feel like over the span of a few months, maybe it might catch a little bit more,
but that's what I'm saying is like, it's something that for a period of time, you turn it on, you look at it, and you sit there and go, oh, okay, cool. Hey, they're on the field. They've got, the field looks the way that it does. Oh, okay. They're talking to coach. All right. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Now let me change the channel and watch something else.
But unlike the TGL, all right, the Indoor Golfing League, I am actually going to flip away from that just because I genuinely don't care. When it comes to college football, anything college football is going to keep my eyes on the screen. And that's that. They know that. People know this.
And I will tell you that if it wasn't for this job in this city, I would literally not watch a single second of any spring game.
Not even Tennessee Volunteers?
None of them.
Not Auburn.
They do not matter one bit.
I know you don't.
Nothing they do matters for what is going to be taking place. Because even now, maybe back when it started becoming big, like the 2010s, like maybe that sort of time, okay? But for the most part, majority of what you see in that, you are not going to be taking any of that into the fall.
Yeah. Plus, also players can still leave afterwards.
Well, and then there's that as well. Plus, and here's the other part. So you also have, there's some that will go in and get there early and enroll early and that sort of thing. But then there's the other side of this is I am willing to say that the probably 20 players that will be on your fall roster are not on your campus during the spring game in some form or fashion, whether it is early enrollees, or I should say, freshmen that are having an early enrollee yet, transfers that have not started to come in yet. 20 guys, that's basically an entire starting offense and defense that is not on campus yet. So why should I be paying attention to the fourth string quarterback and the fact that he may or may not be able to make a pass in 6 years?
Well,
because he may or may not be making it for my school.
It's the first time we got to see Taylor Green last season for Arkansas. And honestly, it looked really good.
Now, look, there are some spring games that I will say watching them, I did learn a lot. I always will remember Baker Mayfield in his very first spring game with Oklahoma because he had just transferred from Texas Tech. He couldn't play in the season, but he played in the spring game. And I was going, okay, well, this guy's much better than the other guy. Like, I'm just letting you know now. But for the most part, it is a waste of time. And that's where I am curious about losing the spring game. Is this really even a big deal? Because I would much rather have a fall game than a spring game. I would so take a jamboree game in August if we wanted to move it there than I would anything that comes in the spring. Nothing. It's more of a celebration of the school itself. Hey, we have the baseball team playing and basketball's going on at the same time. And, basketball's not because the majority of these are in April. But we've got, all this softball team is playing and we're doing all this stuff at the exact same time. And it's a celebration of the school. Okay, you can figure out other ways to do it. But as far as actually sitting down and analyzing every little position, it is pointless in my opinion on it. So like the spring games going away, I'm like, all right, cool. Sorry, ESPN, there goes 90% of your programming in April. Because that's what you're going to want to show like every single Saturday.
Which Oklahoma quarterback were you talking about? Trevor Knight or Cody Thomas?
Trevor Knight.
Okay. I don't know what he's up to now. But
I want to say he's in Canada playing.
Probably.
I
don't know if he'd be playing anymore.
Yeah.
He played for the Cardinals at one point.
Well, he was on the Cardinals.
Yeah,
team.
yeah. Cody Thomas, by the way, is in the MLB organization now for the Texas Rangers. But it's pretty interesting to see some of these guys because I honestly, before Baker Mayfield, first thing I thought of was Sam Bradford, but I should have remembered Trevor Knight because I believe he was the one that beat Alabama back in the day. Not 100%. I'm pretty sure, though.
Oh, no. The last time that Trevor Knight played was during the AAF. He was in the AAF.
What team? The Showboats. Atlanta.
Arizona Hotshots.
Golly, I didn't get to see that team. Damn it. Upset.
Yeah.
Gone too soon.
No, it was not gone too soon. This is why I'm genuinely curious about people in the spring games because I know there's some people that are like, oh, this is amazing. I used to love spring games. What do we get from this? What do we get? And then, just to be honest with you, we then have to act like it's one of the biggest things in the world. There was a period of time where like spring games were life. Oh my God, did you see what this third string guy was able to do at cornerback because the starters were out? I think right now he's going to be able to make a big impact in the fall. And then literally the guy doesn't even step on the field outside of special teams. You're going, well, I was wrong.
Well, one guy that's not going to get rid of spring games? Dabo Swinney. He's very traditional, man. You know that.
Well, I mean, he was a year behind on the NIL stuff.
No,
it all kind of paid off. Eventually, he did get back.
Yeah. Doesn't really bring in a lot of people from the transfer portal. He's getting into the swing of things. But there's one thing you're not going to take away from Dabo Swinney. That's the spring games, because it's tradition, Joe. Maybe that's the reason why people are so gung-ho about this traditional spring game leaving college football.
They're pointless.
Tradition?
Like
tradition pointless?
If we're doing this from a mathematical standpoint, and obviously I do not have the numbers, part of what spring games are is there also an opportunity to, hey, fans, if you enjoy watching the team on the field today, season tickets are still available that you can get in right now by going to blah, 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 blah.com. You can do that. I wonder how many people actually go to the spring game and go, yeah, you know what? Yep, I want to do this now. I wasn't going to do it beforehand, but now I'm going to sign up because I enjoyed the spring game so much. I personally have never ever seen the point of a spring game when so many of your players are not on the field or so many of your players are not doing much. Like that is part of the reason why when all these teams are starting to cancel the spring game and they're saying, Missouri's like, oh, it's because of construction, and, Texas is saying it's for this, and Ohio State or whatever is saying it's for this reason. What is the reason behind you wanting to go there and do it? Because as far as what it was in the beginning, 10, 15 years ago, where you're actually sitting and seeing stuff, the actual televisation of all of this stuff, the fact that you can now go on ESPN Plus and you can watch everybody's spring game, the coaches have dumbed so many things down. And then you'll start talking to coaches and someone will be like, you know what, today what we're really going to be focusing on is we're focusing on running the football. That's what this is going to be. So you're going to see a lot more running plays than probably what you're really going to be seeing in the fall, because that's what our schedule was to work during this scrimmage. And that's why we're working this. This is no indication of what we're going to be doing in the fall.
No doubt about that. Joe, I know you're on a little tangent about these spring games, and we're going to continue the conversation. We appreciate the watchers over on WZZN TV. As I was finally able, I got back at Matthew. He's been correcting me so much because the Showboats are, in fact, a part of the new league. But I got him back. Finally got something right. Either way, I do need to get into these phone lines because we have Johnny on the cell up with us. Johnny on the cell, how you doing, man?
Great.
What's
So
up, man?
if there's an NFL team that wants to draft Jalen Milroe with the intent of making him the starting quarterback, they can go ahead and get ready for their head coach to be fired within 1 year.
Amen.
Now,
Amen.
I'm going to just tell you straight up. Now, Jalen Milroe, the young man, is a fantastic young man. He's as good a salt of the earth as he could date my daughter tomorrow. He's a fantastic human being. Jalen Milroe, the quarterback, is look, Kalen DeBoer lost games he didn't need to lose because of Milroe's inconsistency.
Yep.
Milroe made almost every one of his interceptions occurred within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. And you think back to the Tennessee game, his interception occurred on the goal line. If you think back to the Vanderbilt game, it would occur 10 yards to the line of scrimmage for the pick six. Look at the Oklahoma game, pick six within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Jalen Milroe cannot complete a pass outside of the vertical stretch anywhere in the game. He does not have the accuracy to throw the intermediate passes. And he is a fantastic athlete. He would make a great Slash, a great Taysom Hill. He is not a starting QB1 in the NFL. He would make probably a fantastic tailback. Mm-hmm. He is the kind of guy he can hit the jets and you can't catch him.
No.
He was the fastest guy on the team. The problem for DeBoer was Jalen Milroe, the good guy, showed up at Georgia, looked like an all-world Heisman Trophy contender, and then Jalen Milroe, the inconsistency guy, showed up at Vandy, showed up at Oklahoma, showed up at Tennessee, and cost him ball game. And same thing for the bowl game. Not that the bowl game mattered.
No.
And that's the problem with having Jalen Milroe as your QB1. Do I believe Bama would have had a much better record if Simpson had been our starting QB? Yes. But would we have had a splintered, fractured team? Possibly. So you had to go with the hand you're dealt with, but that no longer exists coming forward. And the fact that Grubb's back at Alabama and all those kids, thanks to NIL on the defensive side, are back for another year, I think Bama has a chance to be very resurgent, to get to the playoffs, and to be a factor. The talent is still there. I don't think Kalen DeBoer forgot how to coach between his trips from Washington, Fresno to Bama. What he got was a quarterback who is a death trap. And that's my take.
No, and Johnny, thanks for that phone call, because I 1000% agree with every single bit of everything he said with that.
Yeah,
that's why it does blow me away that people in the NFL are seeing this, because I think that this is a more of a hope and a dream, as in they're looking at the athletic ability. What's going to happen whenever the quarterbacks work out on the field is he's going to run a 40 and it's going to blow everybody away.
Oh,
and
this guy's the most athletic person ever.
And look, Milroe is great when his first option and his first decision is there. The problem is it is rarely there.
Yeah, don't give him a second option. It won't work out well.
Whenever you have to go to his second or third pick based on when you snap the football and you see what the defense is, that's when the issues come, which happens a lot in the NFL.
Again, you can't tell a cheetah to be a gazelle or whatever the hell he said. I don't know. Like, that's the one thing I'm thinking about, where it's like, can he be like a Denard Robinson, where he switches positions trying to be in a running back and he didn't even succeed? Can this be the success story for a guy that is good at running the football but isn't good enough to be a quarterback in the NFL? That is a question that I want to know. And I'm just thinking to myself, Liam Cohen and the Jacksonville Jaguars choose Jalen Milroe as the quarterback. That's what I'm thinking might just happen.
I'm going
just throwing that out
if
there.
he gets drafted before the third round, I am going to laugh at any person.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. And I want to see something interesting happen this year. And that's what I'm looking forward to. But we do have my cousin Vinny on the phone lines as well. How you doing, Vinny?
Guys, I'm great.
We're doing wonderful.
Doing awesome, man.
Blood pressure a little bit up there, but you know how it is.
Okay, you understand, I don't know if you do or not, but there's a lag between the app, which I'm listening on, and the phone, and the regular radio.
Yes.
Yeah, so, that's an internet thing. I mean, that's just internet speed. That's all that is, yeah.
Anyway, when you look at spring games, guys, you got to look at more at just the team and all this stuff, okay? What I personally look at, okay, is what it does for the economy of a small town like Tuscaloosa, or a small city like Tuscaloosa. I mean, it brings 50, 60, 70,000 people into the economy. They're eating at the restaurants, they're buying the gas, they're shopping, things like that. So you have to, they only have 6 games a year at home, correct?
It's true.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And every game brings in millions of dollars to the economy. Okay. The spring game might not bring as much money as a regular game, but it brings a good chunk of change to those business people that are in Tuscaloosa. I'm just saying.
No, and that makes complete sense. It really does. But then why are we seeing so many coaches pull the plug on the spring game?
To me, and the question that I also have would be, well, then if with that being the case, then why can't we just move this thing to August? Like,
well, I mean,
preseason game.
You can move it wherever you want to.
That's what I'm saying. Is like everybody is wanting to get rid of it in the spring, and I'm thinking to myself, how much you've had. One time there was like 91,000 or 90,000, whatever it is in Tuscaloosa, and it's dropped through the years. Obviously it has, but if you're telling me that I would get a jamboree game and I would then get to actually see my ones that are on the field and getting ready that in 2 weeks they're going to be going to Florida State, I would be more inclined to want to watch that, because it's more of a sign of what we're going to potentially be seeing in a couple of weeks when the actual season starts, rather than the spring where it's like, oh, hey, these guys, they may not even be on the team because they failed to show up for workouts.
Plus, also the transfer portal would be well closed by then. So it is a point.
Well, with that, guys, with that in mind, why not do something like Alabama plays in-state school, Jack State or North Alabama or even Auburn or another in-state college football team on a scrimmage type thing?
Well,
something like that.
That goes into the fact that the college football seasons are now getting longer, and coaches don't want their players to be playing that many physical games throughout the season because
Vinny,
you can take it easy
no,
against each other.
Dude, and I'm on the opposite side of this. I want that. I want those games.
I want it too, but that'll have to go into the season.
But see, what I'm saying is I want them, and I want Alabama to play Troy. I want Alabama to play UAB. I want them to play USA. Wherever it is, I want it to play it in a practice game 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the season starts, and then have the season just be quad one games or whatever we're going to start qualifying these big games as, where you have really good games. Because look, I know we love college football, but at the same time, I really get frustrated after a great week of an Alabama game or an Auburn game, and then go like, all right, well, who do they have this week? Crap, it's La Monroe.
All right.
Screw this.
Guys, can I say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whether there's interest or not interest in the spring game, that's up for debate. Okay. You can ask 100 different people, and 50 will say this, 50 will say that. One thing, Joe, that is not up for debate, or what people are interested in this listening area, and probably throughout the rest of the world, except Japan, is Japanese baseball.
See, I don't disagree.
All right, I'm just saying.
No, I know. Absolutely, I do.
How much have you been talking Japanese baseball,
Look,
Joe?
man, it
I'm
is.
just saying.
Hey, I know. I totally know about this. Trust me. Like, and it is again, this is a 100%. This is what's wild is somebody with ADHD, like I have, I go into the like rabbit holes on everything. Like I keep track of all the rabbit holes that I go into.
Joe, you saw me 2 weeks ago just obsessed with rally. All right. Yeah. I'm on to the next thing already.
I'm not, because I keep learning new things. The moment that I stop learning something about a topic, that is when I then go to something else. Like last year, my rabbit holes were the what was it? The Von Erich family, because I went and saw Iron Claw. And so through like the first part of 2024, all I was sitting there paying attention to and learning about was the Von Erich family, the 1980s, and 70s, all that. Then I transitioned into, for some reason, the Yankees. And I literally read like 50 different books on the New York Yankees and their entire history from like the 20s all the way up to like, the 90s, which is the stuff that I lived in because I lived those. But I read books on Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle. I read it on obviously Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, all those things like in the 20s, all that stuff. Joe DiMaggio. Like I was reading all of that stuff. That was basically my summer rabbit hole is what I went down on that. Then we started getting into football season. I started paying attention to that. Then when the baseball game came out, I'm all in on it. So I understand and I get it. And that's the reason why I don't make it a massive, massive topic on every single thing.
That's why I can hardly talk NASCAR here.
You're right.
Because of you, Joe.
Because I don't. Yeah,
you're the only person that I know that is just like, NASCAR.
Yeah.
There's a few guys that are like, they're just driving in circles all day. Yeah. You, though, on the other hand, are the only person that's stopping me from saying anything NASCAR on this show.
Yes.
We got to come out with a segment. We have to have a segment, Joe.
Okay. If you want to have a segment, then it will be a segment in which I will sit here and I will have a clock and I will time you on literally how long you can talk about this. That is the only thing that we can do because I'm basically like yesterday, you mentioned it. You got 30 seconds. I was like, you have 30 seconds.
Rushed
that's
me.
it.
You rushed me.
Yes.
That's why I was just like, I was stumbling out the words.
Yeah. And you know what happens in a NASCAR race if that happens? You lose.
Then how about this? All right. The next track, I think it's Circa America, whatever like that in Dallas.
What the heck is Circa?
Circa of America.
You're just looking this up now.
Like, this can't be a circle, right?
No,
it's not.
Circuit of the Americas.
There you go. I'm saying it in French. But how about this, Joe? That is a bigger track. How about you give me the amount of time, maybe the average, maybe the fastest lap that can be done on that track. Give me that amount of time. I will tell you all you need to know leading up to the race as well as the results of the race.
Okay, so let me go back to 2024. Let me see when this happens. Okay,
we doing this. Also, Matthew, Samurai Swords. Come on now. That'd be a lot of wasted baseballs. Not that, it already's like that over there.
Starting grid. Let me go over here. Circuit of the Americas. I'm wanting to know what
you can. It's easy. You just pull up Gran Turismo on your computer and play a lap real quick.
Circuit of the Americas qualifying results. That's what I'm wanting to see here. Race results, qualifying. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. Okay. 2 minutes.
Oh, I get 2 minutes, baby. I'm going to get 2 minutes.
No.
Joe. Yeah. You thought all these tracks were short?
No.
This is a road track right here.
Oh my God.
I'm
no.
going to celebrate my victory as we go to break.
No.
Close this one out in the final segment.
No.
Joe, I'm going to press the button.
You can press the button. I'm still trying to. No, it cannot be a 2-minute track. Really?
We'll be right back here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZN TV.
Atlanta Braves spring training is on from Florida, and this 2025 Brave squad is ready to get after it in Northport.
And he waylays this thing way downtown. Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field, heading towards the gap, and it's down for a base hit. Acuna hits the bag at third. Here he comes, Michael Harris, taking no prisoners. It's a sweep.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Tom Abraham here for the Spring Home and Garden Show presented by the Huntsville-Madison County Builders Association, March 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Von Braun Center South Hall. And not only will you find celebrity guests, a family fun zone for the kids, and some great ideas and products for the home, you'll also find the Tom Abraham Show on location Friday at the Owen Home Appliance Center booth from noon to 2 on Friday, March 7th to help kick off the weekend. We'll see you at the Spring Home and Garden Show at the VBC. The Spring Home and Garden Show, March 7th through 9th.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want money.
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Two minutes and 9 seconds was the qualifying time last year.
Damn straight.
Dude, we're not doing 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
2 minutes and 9 seconds, Joe. You're acting like I'm taking a 10-hour-long shower. Come on. 2 minutes, 9 seconds. That's all the NASCAR talk you got to listen to on Friday and on Monday. Because
whoa. Twice?
Yes. I have to talk about it leading up into the race and then, coming back for the race. Who wins? It's 4 minutes total, Joe.
Doesn't matter if it's 4 minutes total.
I mean, come on.
That's a lot.
You talked about your kids going to the bathroom once for like 10 minutes straight. I get to talk about it for a little bit. NASCAR,
I mean, that's a lot.
People love the NASCAR talk. They love it. It's sexy. It's like the long ball. Oh, we're getting out of here already. Well, that was perfect then. This segment was 2 minutes, 9 seconds. Joe, is that a lot?
No, that actually was perfect for what we were talking about, because now we just spent more than that just trying to set this thing up and talk about the potential of it happening.
That's what happens when you complain. Tom Abraham Show, going to be live at Baumhauer's. Make sure you guys head on over there, get yourself some tasty food, and while you're at it, I don't know, what else? Oh, get ready for the Havoc Hour.
Havoc Hour.
Right after that.
6 o'clock tonight, the Procopio brothers are going to be joining us out at Zambruski's inside of the Iceplex. We'll start getting those questions in now. You can shoot them to us on 97.7 ESPN. We're going to hop in the fan cave and get them going there as well. We will see you tonight at 6 o'clock at Zambruski's.
22 hours. We'll be back.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line,